Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Yesterday there was a massive transfer of XRP worth $126 million. So I'm going to share that with you. And it's particularly fascinating to me in conjunction with something I covered yesterday, which has to do with Grayscale moving literally billions of dollars worth of cryptocurrency to Coinbase custody. So I'll be talking about that in this video. I also want to share with you some of the latest charts having to do with XRP remittances. Got that from Galgatron. I've got some quotes from former Ripple employee Bob Way, who, my gosh, what a cool dude. He has shared so much with the XRP community about his time at Ripple and all of his insights. So I've got some of that. Looking forward to sharing with you. I've got word of a company called Truffle. That's a fun name. A company called Truffle that's going to be building software, creating software in conjunction with Corda Network, which of course, Corda Network, developed by R3. Also developed Corda Settler, which uses XRP. So I'm going to cover a little bit of that. And the final thing I'll cover in this video before wrapping things up is China's central bank is fast-tracking research and development regarding the creation of digital currency. So we will talk about all of these things in this video. Before we get going, though, if you would please delicately tap that like button. And if you are a fan of Ripple and XRP, my friend, you've come to the right place. Please subscribe. You know you want to. So here's a tweet from Galgatron. Latest charts. If there's ever a lesson to be learned that nobody ever seems to want to learn, it's that there's no switch flipping, floodgate opening, single massive event that will make an immediate impact. MoneyGram will be a trickle at first. And so what he's talking about, he's made this point, and I conceptually agree with him, which I'm actually not sure. It might put us in the minority. I really don't know. Maybe you can comment below and tell me what you guys think. But a lot of people out there in the XRP community, and it's okay to feel differently than me. It certainly is on any topic. But a lot of people in the XRP community think that there's just going to be some major catalyst. It could have been MoneyGram in this case, or anything. Something occurring, and they call this switch flipping, and then it's just going to make the price of XRP just moonshot through the roof. Well, let me tell you, the way that I see this, the only way that you're going to see, I shouldn't say the only way, well, actually, quickly, if you're talking about a very rapid price increase in XRP, the likes of which we saw end of 2017 into early 2018 when it hit its all-time high XRP of $3.92, what causes that is, well, first of all, whale manipulation. But that happens, it's possible, the whale manipulation is possible thanks to speculators, specifically retail speculators willing to buy and sell, not knowing what they're doing, and then sometimes being a little bit irrational. And so you do see parabolic moves like that, but what I'm saying is none of this has anything to do with utility, and that's why I think when you're talking about the next major run-up in price of XRP, it's really going to be more about the asset class as a whole having strides upward, which means it is perfectly reasonable. XRP, don't be surprised if this happens, it could lag behind Bitcoin's next parabolic run-up by, who knows, months, look, the last run-up, it lagged behind by half a year, so that type of thing can happen here. But I just don't buy into the concept that there's going to be one catalyst that will make XRP price rise and then just stay there. Because that doesn't take into account the reasons that people are genuinely buying and selling. And there's a lot to it there. And so I appreciate what Galgatron was saying here. And so he's got this chart here, and the one that he usually likes to point out is the yellow remittances. Remittances and payments between 10 and less than 500 United States dollars. Right? And you can see, even with the news, look what it's doing. And this is over a span of 6 months, by the way. This is a 6-month chart right here. And so, now part of the reason is, even if you believe in the switch flipping thing, I just reported in my last video that MoneyGram is gradually implementing XRapid. We just found that out thanks to the question and answer session that occurred yesterday. And so we don't know to what degree XRapid is being used. We do know it's being used today. The first instance they cited of using XRapid, MoneyGram, is into Mexico. This took 1 minute and 13 seconds for a transaction, which is freaking fast. It really is. And so you're going to see more, but in particular, they think it's going to flow through the profit and loss statement in the fourth quarter specifically. So as a result, that alone is enough reason to be like, okay, that's not switch flipping, that's a gradual increase. But even so, if you think that the impact of MoneyGram utilizing XRapid is enough for a huge run-up in price, I don't know. Here's the reason I'm having trouble with it. It's real utility, and this is great long-term for the ecosystem, and I am Mr. XRP bull, so please don't take this the wrong way. I believe that XRP can be worth substantially more than it is today. That is not financial advice. Not financial advice. No, not a financial advisor. But I think that you've got to see the entire asset class mature first. That's what I keep saying, and I just firmly believe it's true. You're going to see utility matter more in the future. You will see less volatility, I'm sure, decades from now. And the asset class of digital assets, cryptocurrencies, is just going to be something that people have in their portfolios. Just regular everyday people. They're going to have some exposure to it. And in the short term here, though, it's not about the actual utility. Now, those coins that have staying power, yes, it comes down to utility. That's why I'm so excited to be into XRP when I am right now at the ground floor. And I don't know how long it's going to take. That's why I don't make price predictions. But it's all coming here. Now, the good news is in terms of adoption here, and here's the other chart that I like to show. It's a 6-month chart also, but it's about account activation. Look down here. Yeah, here we go. So you can see that there's this huge ramp up, and this was mid-May, and then this was, when was this? Probably beginning of July. You can see it was a huge ramp up into that time period. But even when things slow down, look at the increase. It's still going. There are still account activations. This is real-world evidence of the continued adoption of the XRP ledger and XRP itself. Okay, it is right here staring at you on the screen. So from my perspective, it's just one of those things where, like, hey, all good things in time, man. Be patient. Be patient. It's all coming. So I don't know. I haven't talked too much about that before, but I've never been a proponent for this switch flipping stuff. To me, it just like, given that the entire asset class, it's pretty well shown to be true at this point that everything follows Bitcoin. Switch flipping does what? Who now? So I don't think so. That's why I personally, nothing against you if you bought into this, but I personally was never a believer of the end of year 2018. There were a lot of people that thought XRP was going to $589, and there were people within the XRP community really pushing for that. But I just, to me, it was a nonsensical point. Not saying that XRP can't hit such high prices. I'm not saying that. But there's just a lot of wacky stuff that goes on. When you're talking about that short of a time period, no, there's no way, because you would have had to have believed that in that short of a time period, XRP was going to dethrone Bitcoin, and I saw nothing in the cards for it happening to that degree. I do see a trend where you're slowly closing the gap between them, especially if you look over the last 5 years in terms of market cap. But it's going to take time. I don't know when it's going to happen. I do think XRP can dethrone Bitcoin in terms of market cap, but from my personal perspective, and it's okay if you have a different point of view. It's okay. We can still be friends here. Don't forsake me. But I just think it's going to take some time. That's all I'm saying. Now check out this too. So XRP Boy responded. And there's just a real short back and forth here. XRP responded to Galgatron and wrote, fair enough, but it is pretty early in the game, isn't it, Galgatron? It is my opinion that the pressure will come, and when it does, there's no telling what can happen. Gradual is great, but I really do think there will be a significant tipping point, a game changer, if you will. And that's okay. I think XRP Boy is awesome. I don't feel the same as him on this particular topic, but he's fantastic and a very valued XRP community member here. And I probably agree with him on almost everything else XRP related, but I don't believe in that. Anyway, Galgatron responded, though, if MoneyGram going live and publicly stating usage of XRapid isn't your game changer, then I don't know what could be. I'm hoping people will understand that massive moves in price or volume will not come from utility adoption. The platform moves slowly. I think that's a key point, and I absolutely agree with this. And all the way 08, he responded, and he's the one that shared a bunch of stuff I covered in the last video, actually. There were screen captures about from the MoneyGram Q&A session. And so anyway, but he wrote this. Agree with this. Big movements in price will need to come from institutional buying / holding and speculation. XRapid volume XRapid volume are small and quick trades. What XRapid represents is actual utility and is a step on the path to even more use cases that will drive the price up over time. Well said, all the way 08. I firmly agree with you and Galgatron. XRP boy, you still my boy, but I do disagree with you on this particular topic. All right, on to the next piece, though. Oh, XRP boy shared this. This was cool, though, and he actually shared this in the same thread, but he is a screen capture of something that Ripple employee Bob Way had to say. And here we go. Yeah, here we go. Right. So let me make this full screen here. Yeah, again, so this is for Bob Way, former Ripple employee of March of, I think it was this year anyway. And he was asked the question, how long do you think will it take to see XRP mass adoption? 1 year, 3 years, 5 years? And Bob responded, it really depends on what you mean by mass. At the moment, the focus is not on getting XRP ledger wallets for all 8 billion people on the planet. The more immediate goal is to have all 8 billion people's international payments routed through XRP as a bridge currency. To make this work requires exchanges and traders on ledger and off to acquire and trade XRP. It also requires connecting fiat in and fiat out service providers that core network. Traders are competitive folk by nature. When it comes, this is the part that I really want to see, and it's what XRP boy pointed out as well. But traders are competitive folk by nature. When it becomes clear that other traders are making piles of money making XRP markets, then you'll see a mad rush of new traders wanting into the game. This is the kind of mass adoption I'm looking for. Exactly. Well said, Bob. And that's exactly what I've been talking about on this channel for months and months and months. There are genuine businesses that can be developed on top of the XRP ledger, and you can be a market maker. Absolutely. This is already done in traditional FX markets. This is just the development of this occurring in this asset class, and that's the part that's new. It's coming. It's not going away. XRP is here to stay, my friends. And then he writes, keep in mind, traders making bridge currency markets are not looking to profit on XRP's price appreciation. What they are doing is profiting on the spread as payments go back and forth. One of my friends at a major bank developed a system that trades more than $1 trillion a day making markets. The spread as a fee adds up pretty quickly, no matter how small it seems. Exactly. And so that's why for people like you and me, and I'm assuming when I say people like you and me, I'm assuming you're an XRP holder, and probably for the long haul, because the recent survey showed that 94% of those holding XRP are long-term hodlers. I count myself among that percentage for sure. But you and I, we're holding because we're looking for the price appreciation. But there are market makers that don't care. As long as they can keep buying and selling it over and over and over again and making money on the associated fees, it doesn't matter. That's part of what the ecosystem looks like. It's the coolest thing. And that is actually happening, and that's one of the reasons, again, that XRP is here to stay. Businesses are building on top of it and earning profit because this exists. And that gives confidence. This is how the ecosystem works. I want everybody to get this. This is how the ecosystem works. And then speculators like you and I, because this stuff is happening, gives us confidence to continue to buy and hold XRP. Not financial advice. I'm just telling you how I feel about this. All right, next here. And XRP boy writes, I don't hate Bitcoin. I'm just honest about its limitations and flaws. Thank you, XRP boy. Now that I firmly agree with. I feel exactly the same. I do not hate Bitcoin. To the contrary, I actually really appreciate that it was created in the first place. I really, really mean that. As much as you can kind of tease about how slow it is compared to XRP. But here's a screen capture, and this is from Bob Way also. So it says, Way, a former NASA employee who worked at Ripple from June 2013 to May 2018, tells YouTube's Alex Cobb the company's start was based on the notion that someone should create a better Bitcoin. And here's the quote from him now. This is cool. And so everybody just said, this Bitcoin thing is really awesome. I bet we can do better. That's all they really thought, and boy, did that turn out to be controversial. I bet. Then he writes, absolutely everyone has a dog in the fight. If people hate XRP or hate Ripple, it's really because they've invested or bet on something else. And if Ripple wins, they lose. Everybody sees it as a sort of zero-sum game. Bob's correct about that. That's the perception of how people see it, but it's actually not true that if XRP wins or Ripple wins, that it doesn't mean that other cryptocurrencies lose. That is not the case. There's room for multiple cryptocurrencies. But I think there are a lot of maximalists out there that think that it's one or none. And as a result, you can see why they're so vicious in terms of their communications regarding Ripple and XRP. They're kind of vicious at times, aren't the maximalist types out there? And that's because they really do view it as an actual threat. It's a lot of them anyway. A lot of them really do believe that. Otherwise, there'd be no. If you really didn't view it as a threat, if it were truly something that you viewed as benign, you wouldn't put so much effort into it. That's how I view it, anyway. But I think there will be multiple winners. So anyway, that's what I think. All right, now I got this from @1HanSolo. Ripple boasts 126 billion. I think he meant million. Yeah, he typed that wrong, right? Yeah, million. Okay, transaction, making it the largest of the day. Okay, so this is from CoinInsider.com. Ripple boasts $126 million transaction, making the largest of the day. And that is truly freaking massive. So let me read just this little top part for you, okay? Insights from transaction data. The big news of the day is the transaction activity on Ripple, and we know that they mean XRP, but whatever, people, right? Not only did it have more transactions recorded on its chain yesterday than any other coin, to be precise, it had about 25% more transactions recorded than Ethereum, which was the runner-up for the day in terms of transactions recorded. But Ripple also boasted, they mean XRP, also boasted the largest transaction on its chain across all cryptocurrencies for the previous day, with its largest transaction coming in at $126,580,436 US. Wow, that is massive. Ripple's transaction fee is and has been substantially less than other coins that typically report large volume and/or transaction sizes, namely Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Bitcoin Cash, which perhaps is a contributing factor to its utility in this regard. And so it doesn't go into the reason for this transaction, but I'm tying pieces together myself. I'm making an assumption, which may or may not be correct, but there's this, again, something I reported on yesterday. There was a story about how Grayscale is moving literally billions and billions and billions of dollars worth of cryptocurrency to Coinbase custody, which is truly significant for a number of reasons. Custody solutions are absolutely required for, as far as institutional grade solutions for adoption of the entire asset class. So that's a massive deal. It's very important. You're going to see more of this as the entire asset class is fleshed out from an infrastructure perspective. There will be a lot more of that. But anyway, I was assuming that that's where this came from. I doubt that it's coincidence. Don't technically know. But for a transaction that big, I'd be willing to bet that's a Grayscale transaction. If I just had to guess, it's just a shot in the dark. So take that for what it's worth. But I'm guessing that's Grayscale's XRP. And it wasn't just XRP they were moving. That's the one that I cared about mostly just because I'm an XRP guy, right? But no, they moved a bunch of other stuff. It was Bitcoin and Ethereum, Litecoin, I think. Maybe it was Bitcoin Cash also. But yeah, so take that for what's worth. Now this piece is from Cointelegraph. Truffle announces upcoming dev support for Corda, Hyperledger Fabric, and Tezos. Blockchain development company Truffle has unveiled plans to expand its fully managed developer suite to include support for the blockchain protocols Corda, Hyperledger Fabric, and Tezos. Truffle founder and CEO Tim Coulter announced the company's plans at TruffleCon 2019, which is Truffle's annual developer conference, of Microsoft's campus in Redmond, Washington. Coulter commented on how he thinks these tools will pave the way for collaboration via interoperability, stating, "We are empowering developers to build enterprise-grade solutions on any network of their choosing, creating a path for future cross-network collaboration." And then the piece continues. According to a press release shared with Cointelegraph, the Truffle Suite is a fully managed blockchain for developer workflow, from back-end work on smart contracts to front-end creation on applications. By the way, that part made a ton of sense to me because the Corda network is basically a smart contract platform, so it would make sense that they'd work together. Truffle's developer tools reportedly date back to 2015 when they were developed from within Consensus Venture Production Studio. As further noted, Truffle later received $3 million investment in 2019 and partnered with Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan, as well as Microsoft Azure. All right, so this is another one of those things where there aren't a ton of specifics, but I like to report on the fleshing out of the entire ecosystem. And so I'm always thinking in terms of what can this ultimately mean for XRP, and I guess to a certain extent, of course, the entire asset class, because I want the entire asset class to thrive. But just, again, keep in mind that as developers build in conjunction with Corda Network, there will be certain smart contracts requiring a settlement, a payment of sorts. Not all, but some will. And an option for settlement is always going to be available through XRP. That's utility. That's real world utility. And as the asset class of cryptocurrencies continues to prove its staying power, and as volatility lessens over the coming decades, more and more individuals, business entities will be willing to accept settlement in terms of cryptocurrencies, XRP included. Now that said, even if they're not willing to in the short term, there are always options to build software that will immediately convert XRP into whatever fiat currency you want. You can always build that out. Even if that's not specifically what the settler does, Corda settler with XRP, but that absolutely can be built out. So if you're concerned about XRP preventing people from utilizing this quick payout, no, I think that you can settle the XRP quickly, instantly, have your smart contracts completed, even in terms of settlement, and then just convert it. And this is the type of ecosystem that's being built out today. All right, last piece for this video. This is from ambcrypto.com. China's central bank fast-tracks research and development of its legal digital currency. The People's Bank of China noted that they are going to track the development trend of virtual currencies of China and foreign in order to strengthen internet financial risk remediation. After mulling over its centrally owned digital currency, China accelerated its research and development, according to the statement released by the People's Bank of China on August 2nd. The process of creating China's own digital currency escalated as soon as Facebook announced the plans and white paper of their Libra project. However, the future of the Libra project is uncertain since the U.S. Senate and regulators expressed concerns. According to reports, China's legal digital currency will be issued by the central banks and might replace banknotes. With the central bank issuing the digital currency, it would serve as a hurdle for the people wishing to indulge in illicit activities and also help transform and upgrade the financial infrastructure of the country. Even though a lot has been said about this digital currency being developed to challenge Libra, Deputy Dean of the Institute of Capital and Finance of China University of Political Science and Law, Wu Chenghai, noted that Libra cannot replace or impact China's fiat currency. According to him, due to the existing state governance model, it would be impossible for a stablecoin like Libra to replace the digital currency of China. And here's a quote from Wu Chenghai in the Beijing News. The legal digital currency is a substitute for banknotes. It is issued by the central bank. The general encrypted digital currency itself does not have a monetary function. The government cannot hand over the currency distribution rights to a company. This idea is impossible to achieve for a long time. And then it continues, China's digital currency could play a major role in financial tech across the world as it already boasts a vast mobile payments market. With Tencent's WeChat Pay and Alibaba's Alipay that deal with data of nearly 2 billion accounts among them, China could dominate various Asian markets. Facebook might have a larger user base, but due to the current environment, the company might not be able to release Libra in 2020 as per the earlier plan. And that's all I got for you today, guys. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!